everybody. Welcome into Domesticated Gamblers After Dark. It is Thursday night, May 11th. I'm Eric, and there is Sean and Tito. Been a little bit since we've all been together. It's getting a little late, but the kids are in bed. We've got takes to give, so we figured let's hop on the old YouTube and hang out a little bit, boys. It's good to see you, Tito. How you been, buddy?
I'm doing well. It was good to see you boys too. Thanks for setting this up, Eric. Good to see you, Fishy Fish. How are things going? I know you got some gambling wins to talk to us about. So excited to shoot the breeze with you guys. I got some hot Cardinal takes and I got some hot action for later on tomorrow night related to the NHL and NBA, baby. So Tito's back with some 3-star plays for everyone to enjoy and cash in on, baby.
Love to hear that. It's been a while. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but I don't know, 2 months maybe for me, maybe longer, maybe 2.5. Great to be on here. I'm ready to get back and talk gambling. I took a hiatus and it's been beautiful. I haven't gambled much, but in the last couple of weeks I got going. I hit a big jackpot in the Derby. All I do is cash, baby, and that's what I do. So hit some scratchers for $500. I don't know, man. Life's good right now. Living good.
It had to suck you back in. Well, tell us about your Derby win. You were texting me a little bit about it. Give us the details.
So me and my cousin, we every year we bet, a couple exactas, a trifecta, a superfecta. I can get into that stuff later on, but a tri is 3, a super's 4, and exacta is 2 horses. So he usually throws $100 in, and I throw $100 in. We pick our own tries and exactas and supers, and we hit the trifecta, $5. We didn't box it, so what that means is we got them in exactly the right order. So we had $5 and $1 try paid $9.80. So you times that times 5, and that's what we cashed. 4,900 split 2 ways. Thank you very much. How do you do? Let's cash. Let's go, baby. So we're feeling good. We're feeling good.
That's good to hear. It's been going good here for me too. I'm treading water a little bit here in May. I had a nice win in the Europa League this afternoon, so I'm down less than 1 unit here in May. It's just about even for the month, but I'm still up over 38 units for the year. Thanks in large part to Manchester City. So these guys are a freaking cash cow. They're the best soccer team in the world. They've been unbeaten since February 5th, and I looked it up. Since April 1st, I've won over 22 units alone by just making bets that involve Man City. It's crazy. So I have a bet for you guys involving Man City at the end of the show, but we can get going here with what's on the docket here on this late night edition of Domesticated Gamblers. We're going to talk some St. Louis sports with the Cardinals and St. Louis City SC. Both from a big picture perspective and a gambling perspective for their upcoming games. Talk about our leans for the NBA and NHL playoff games coming up on Friday. Tito, excited to hear your takes on those, along with a sneak peek of the NFL schedule that was just announced. Sean, you'll take us through some of that. We'll jack around here with our question of the day, talk about some domesticated dad life stuff, and we'll finish out the show with our picks. But first, guys, you live in St. Louis. You always lead with the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals, the worst team in the National League with the record of 13-25 on the year. That is the worst 38-game starts of the season since 1907. However, despite being 3-7 in their last 10 games, the Cardinals have actually picked up 2 games on the first-place Pirates, who have dropped 9 of their last 10. Second-place Brewers have lost 8 of their last 10. So the NL Central is just a dumpster fire. The Cardinals sit 8 games out of first place. Sean, let's start with you. Give me your take on the Redbirds.
Fun fact, this is the first time in MLB history that the Cardinals and the New York Yankees are both in last place. That's a fun fact there. Both storied, franchises. The Cardinals, boy, this Ali Marmol guy, come on. What are you doing? You're picking on O'Neill. Week 2, here we go. We're going to fire up O'Neill. This guy doesn't need to get fired up about running around second base, heading home. What's going on? Everyone watched that play. He was hustling. I think upper management, there's something going on here. I don't know if the wallet is losing his marbles or, if Mozeliak, I don't know what's going on, but I've never seen anything like this with the Cardinals. We have no pitching, and this is what Mo's MO was. Not to be a pun master, but his MO was pitching. Where's it at? We are so bad. We can't get an out when we need it with 2 outs. It's been terrible. I don't know what else to say, but it's been god awful. If I'm Goldschmidt and Arenado, I'm looking to get out of here because the future's not bright. We send Jordan Walker down. He's hitting 270, and we send him down. I mean, yeah, he didn't hit a bunch of home runs, but give me a break. I'm gonna throw it over to Tito. I know he's got some steamy takes.
Dude, Sean, you're absolutely right. Jordan Walker. I mean, I can go on and on about everything that's happened over the last month with the Cardinals. Jordan Walker goes on a 14 or 13 game hitting streak. He has one hitless game. Send his ass down. It's all because of the service time. It's all because of them wanting to control it. He's 20 years old. They want to run him through the system. He's not ready yet. They're gonna sow their oats on the fact that he's batting terribly at AAA. Just and that's just justification enough for them to be able to say, see, he needs to figure it out a little bit more. He's got to get that launch angle. All this analytic bull crap. I mean, it's just a complete travesty with what happened with Jordan Walker. You're right with the pitching. I mean, this used to be the hallmark of the Cardinals: pitching, pitching, pitching. And the fact of the matter is they've done absolutely atrocious on player development on these free agent signings. Steven Matz, what a dumpster fire. I mean, the list goes on and on with free agent pitchers that Mosaic has brought in over the last decade. I mean, you're talking about Mike Leake. You're talking about Steven Matz. You're talking about that lefty from Toronto, Brett Cecil in the relief. I mean, these are just absolute travesties, absolute abominations of contracts that this guy clearly doesn't have it anymore. I mean, for a long time he was at a higher level than everyone else, but that the game has totally passed him by. The fact of the matter is, this guy thinks that we're a bunch of complete buffoons. We're the best fans in baseball. We're going to keep showing up, and they're totally taking us for granted. And I don't know what the wallet's doing. He must be counting the money that's rolling in from Ballpark Village and from all these people in that high-rise apartments that they're spending $4,500 to $10,000 a month on these suites. I mean, it's a complete travesty. I don't know how people go down there and still spend their hard-earned money on this complete abomination of an organization. I'm completely tired of it. Get them out of here. Send their asses away. Sell the team to Wallet. You paid $100 million for the Cardinals. Now you can sell it for $8 billion and go right off into the sunset. It's time for some new blood in St. Louis, baby.
Yeah, I think they're just in an utter state of panic right now where they don't know what to do because they've never faced this situation really in the DeWitt era. And it's
No.
just one thing after the other this season. Tito, you reference all the moves that have just been a disaster. And I think it's just finally catching up to them here in 2023 that it just like at some point it was going to catch up to them and burn them. And we're seeing it all come to fruition here. We haven't caught up in a while to talk about all this, but you mentioned the Tyler O'Neill thing. That set a tone at the very beginning of the season where I would imagine there's guys walking on eggshells in that clubhouse now with like, am I going to get called up on my manager? I just think that's a horrible, horrible leadership, act that he did. That's not the way you lead. The Jordan Walker thing, they make this big deal about when he gets called up to make the team out of spring training. They make this great video. He's playing fine. Yes, he was not elevating the ball enough, but he's a rookie. This happens. He was still hitting for average. They send him down. He's been terrible in AAA because he's probably like, what the hell are they doing with me? I thought I was going to be here. Alec Burleson somehow is still here, even though his OPS is probably under 600 now at this point. You have the Zach Thompson situation that I feel like has flown under the radar as one of their better relievers, and they send him down to stretch him out as a starter. Not for this year, they said. They referenced 2024. What does that even mean? How long does it take to get stretched out? So Zach Thompson's another guy that's like, what the hell am I doing here in Memphis? The Wilson Contreras situation, we could go on and on about that. I think that one might have actually galvanized these guys a little bit, where the players might have gotten together and just like, F this. Like, Wilson's a good guy. They're screwing him around. Like, let's,
I
they
think
had a good
I think
series in
that could be the
Chicago.
I think that could be the pitchers with Contreras. That's my lean on this. Is the pitchers don't like his game call. They don't like how he calls the game.
That's a complete. I mean, you're right. You're 100% right. Flaherty mentioned it on Thursday, the Thursday before, and he talked about how too many 2-strike hits. And guess what, Flaherty? You can shake him off. And if you shake him off enough, he's going to come out there and say, "What do you want to throw?" You're the pitcher. Throw whatever the hell you want to throw. And if he can't call a game correctly, you have the pitching coach or yes man Marmol call the pitches from the dugout. That's
Right.
not that hard of a fix to do. The
Right.
fact of the matter is that the yes man Marmol will do whatever Mosaic wants him to do. He wants him to come out and say, "Oh, well, we want to play, Contreras in the outfield. We're not going to tell him that we're going to bring up this AAA catcher and not tell him, let him find out when he walks into the clubhouse, and then you're going to say, oh yeah, we want him to play in the outfield." And then Mosaic, he's not dumb. He comes out afterwards and realizes the abomination. What kind of reaction the fans gave when they heard about Contreras being in the outfield because of the log jam in the outfield. And then he says, "Oh yeah," he just totally throws yes man Marmol under the bus. "Oh yeah, I don't know what that was about. He's not going to be an outfielder. He's going to be the DH." It's a complete. The blind is leading the blind here, and it's a complete travesty. They both got to go. Everyone's got to go. And you're right, Eric. This is a galvanizing moment for the players. They're going to rally behind Contreras, especially the offense, and they're going to lead this team because the pitching is a complete train wreck. There's not one good pitcher. We go and sign Michaelis to an extension before one pitch is ever thrown. Why do you sign him to a 2-year extension? I mean, what are you doing here? Let him go out. "Oh, I don't want to pay him $26 million at the end of this year. I'm going to have to do that." It's a complete wreck. I mean, I could be managing this team 10 times better than what Mosaic's doing. And yes, man, Marmol, get his ass out of here. I'm sorry. I'm Brandon Raven. I don't care. This is a complete train wreck. Get him out of here. Let's move on to the city. I don't care.
Well,
What?
I got more things to talk about with this too, though. But like, I was thinking about the Contreras thing and the pitch calling, and I thought the same thing. Like, these guys can call their own pitches. The pitchers, they can throw what they want. I think the pitch clock is a situation, though. You don't have as much time to shake off and figure that out. So I think I can sense this even watching the games. It feels like it's moving fast. Like Helsley, when he's out there throwing 100 miles an hour, he's just got to keep pumping him in there. He doesn't have time to step off and take a break. So, I just still think either way, they effed up something, because either number one, they're pulling the plug on their starting catcher too soon after 34 games or whatever it was, or they shouldn't have signed him in the first place. Like, either way, they screwed up. And the Flaherty thing, this guy, my God, the wheels are falling off him. He about got into a scrap with Derek Gould after his start the other night. I don't know if you saw that.
Didn't see that.
His shoulder is all effed up. He's fighting through it. He knows he has to stay out there if he wants to try and get paid in the offseason. He's going to have a horrible ERA, a horrible whip, but if he can get through the season, maybe someone to give him $10 million a year because he's got a healthy arm and it has potential, I guess. I think he's panicking too. There's a whole everything. The word that comes to mind when I think of the Cardinals right now is panic. I think the Michaelis thing was a panic move too, because Mosaic realized, oh my God, we only have one starting pitcher under contract after the season. We got to have someone else under contract. It's just all around. The plan that they had is completely blown up in their face, and now they're just like, what the hell do we do? I think that's where we're at.
Something that stuck with me last year. I went to the last home game for the Cardinals when Molina and Pujols retired. And they had a big ceremony, and Mozeliak was talking about Pujols and the legacy. And then he talked about Molina. And something that has stuck with me, and I can't forget it. He looked at him eye to eye, and he said, "We're going to miss you more than anyone realizes." And I think we're seeing that now. Molina called these games. Every time Molina would get hurt, our ERA would go up by a run while he was out. It's pretty clear that Molina was carrying the pitching staff, and he was calling we know he was calling all the pitches, but we really miss Molina right now, big time. This is pull the plug here. This is bad.
Well,
I mean,
oh, go ahead, Tito.
you're Sean, 100% right. You're missing Molina hardcore right now. But the fact of the matter is, this wasn't unknown. Molina gave this organization plenty of time to prepare, and the fact that they pulled the plug 34 games into this and said, "Oh, well, we didn't realize we were sold. We were convinced that one job interview. We went down there. He impressed us within 3 hours, and so we signed him to a 5-year deal for $87.5 million." I mean, what are we doing here? Like, how right? I mean, how? And I get why Mosaic didn't do the Murphy thing. I get it. They've been burned over and over again on the prospects they have traded. I mean, you got the Garcia fella who's raking. You got Zach Gallen. We could talk about that too. That came out earlier this afternoon. Zach Gallen wouldn't participate in the winter program, and all of a sudden, after pitching in the postseason for the AAA, and then he comes on and says, "Oh yeah, I got traded because I didn't want to participate. I was exhausted after pitching
Didn't hear
the
that.
entire year." Yeah, there was a podcast with AJ Pierzynski and a few other where Zach Gallen comes out and is talking about how he was traded. He didn't want to participate. He came down to Jupiter for 2 days. They said, "You can go home. Everything's fine." And when he was on the plane back home to wherever he lives, he got traded. The agent called and said, "Hey, you've been traded to Florida." Like, what are we doing here? Zach Gallen is this top-notch pitching prospect that we wouldn't get rid of. And the fact of the matter is, they've been burned over and over again. So I get him not wanting to trade Walker, him not wanting to trade the shortstop. I get it, but still, you got to look at all the avenues, and you got to look at the entire track record of what they've done over the last years, and it's been a complete train wreck for the last several years. And again, it's time for a change.
Yeah,
And
go ahead, John.
What prospect have we hit on besides Wainwright, Pujols, Molina?
I can't even really think of one.
I mean, it's few and far between. I mean, they don't hit they haven't hit on the prospects recently. They haven't hit on any free agent signing, not one. All their hits have been trades.
Yeah.
All their hits. I mean, you got Arenado, you got Goldschmidt. I mean, that can go back to the early 2000s, but still, it's just like and again, we're not talking about we're not talking about the Kansas City Royals. We're not talking about the Baltimore. We're talking about the St. Louis fucking Cardinals. I mean, they've won the most out of any National League team. They're behind the New York Yankees. And the fact of the matter is that you can't convince players to come here in free agency. You can't spend the money enough to get the right players. You got to hire. I mean, what are we doing with Dusty? What's the pitching coach's name? Blake? I mean, this is the first-time pitching coach. I mean, what are we doing here? Mike Maddox is this distinguished pitching coach, and we get yes man Marmol because that's what they want to hire. They want to hire a bunch of yes man, and they can't hire a stud head coach. They can't hire a stud coaching staff. I mean, this is a complete train wreck. What are we doing? You're the St. Louis fucking Cardinals, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you're right. We should be getting the best of the best, and I think comes from the leadership. Mosaic wants to do things his way. And I think with Schilt, it was the philosophical differences because Schilt, I think, probably saw this coming. He saw the writing on the wall that, we don't have as much talent as we think. And this is going to eventually dry out. He probably wanted to do some things differently. Mosaic said, "No, thanks, buddy. Peace out. It's my way or the highway." And I just think I agree. It's time for a new voice. But will Bill DeWitt ever do that? I think he's going to give Mosaic a mulligan after this season. And this season's not dead, by the way, because of this damn division that they play in. But I looked this up.
This is dead. This season is over with. I don't care if they win the division.
I don't either.
They're going to get bounced in the wild card or in the first round. It is over. I mean, what are we doing here? And again, I can't underestimate the fact that this coaching staff is a bunch of yes men. They're not going to fire Marmol. They're not. He will do whatever Mosaic wants him to do. If he wants him to fall on the sword, that's what he'll do. They'll fire Gersh before they fire Marmol.
That's who's next.
That's who's next. It's a joke. I mean, you're talking about firing Schilt. I heard earlier this week the reason they fired Schilt was because he wanted Rosarina gone because of what happened during that post-game post game where he filmed Schilt saying no one fucks with us ever, and then Rosarina goes to Tampa Bay and lights it up, and Mozeliak gets pissed at Schilt because that was Schilt's call supposedly. I don't know how that was Schilt's call because he's the head fucking coach. He's not the GM. He's the head coach, and so I don't get it. But again, Schilt was a guy that understood the Cardinal way. He understood what it takes to manage. That's why they had the 18-game winning streak back in 2020 or 2021, whenever it happened. No, that's all right. We want to fire you. Philosophical differences. Let's get a yes man in here who will do whatever the hell I want to do. I mean, it makes me want to puke. I can't stand this organization. Get them out of here. I'm not going to one game this year. Woof.
Well, to take it from a gambling perspective, when looking at the division odds, and I agree with you, Tito, I almost don't want them to win the division because they're going to get bounced in the first round. More than likely, if they got in, maybe they win one round before they run into the real stud teams. But the Milwaukee Brewers are the favorite to win the division on DraftKings at minus 145. The team with the second best odds are the St. Louis Cardinals at plus 380. They're only 8 games out of first place because this division is such a joke. I'm telling you right now, they're going to get back in it. They might win the division. I would rather them win 70 games when they realize we have to change our ways. Because, and I feel like we probably sound like spoiled Cardinals fans, like they've made the playoffs each of the last 4 years, which is fine. That's good. But I just feel like this team is in purgatory right now and they need to change it up, but I just don't think that they will. At the end of the day, it comes down to the starting pitching.
Yeah.
The Cardinals starter ERA is 5.40. That is 24th in baseball. They're also in the process of burning out their bullpen by the All-Star break. By the way, since they made this move with Contreras and they said, oh, we need, Kisner back there, someone that knows what they're doing, calling a game. We've had a full 5 games, so 1 full turn through the rotation. Nobody went 6 innings. The Cardinals have 7 quality starts all year long. Only 3 teams in baseball have fewer. So at the end of the day, this comes down to the pitching, the talent evaluation, all those types of things. I think this team can still win the freaking division, unfortunately, because of what they're in. And all that is going to do is give more ammo for Mozeliak. Aren't you entertained? Aren't you entertained by this team being competitive every year? Where it's just like, I don't know, man. I would rather suck for 3 years and there's no guarantee. I'm not even saying you need to tank, but just like have a new thought process when it comes to your leadership. I think we're just done with it, aren't we?
Yeah.
No, we're not done with it. The B-Fibs are not done with it. They're still going to rake in. They're still going to have $3.5 million go through the turnstiles. They're not done with it. St. Louis has nothing else going on. The only thing that's keeping the city alive is the fucking Cardinals. I mean, that's the cold, honest truth. Is that people were going down there no matter what because there's nothing else to do here in St. Louis, so they're not going to change.
That's why I go. That's why I go to the games. Nothing to do.
Yep.
So it's not going to change. I'm sorry. I apologize. But no, nothing's going to freaking change. They're not going to fire Marmol. He does exactly what they want him to do. This is not some, oh, well, you know what? We made a mistake here. No, they think they made a mistake by hiring Schilt.
The only way I could see them letting go of Marmol if he clearly loses the clubhouse. And again, back to the Flaherty thing, there is some miscommunication there where, and Sean, I don't know if you heard about this. So Flaherty's basically, Jim the Cat Hayes was calling him out for, hey, we noticed your, velocity was really down, your fastball. And Flaherty jumped his ass, saying that, like, I play with my fastball, the velocity on it. That's part of pitching. That's the art of pitching. And Derek Gould called him out, basically said, like, well, Jack, we don't know that. Like, we want to ask you about it so you can tell us, like, and Flaherty says,
Jack, you don't know pitching.
And Gould says, you want to say that again? And it was uncomfortable, man. I thought they were going to throw down right there in this small, cramped Wrigley clubhouse. But another reason I asked him about it is because the Cat asked Marmol, hey, I noticed Flaherty's velocity was down. Any reasoning why you think that happened? And Marmol's like, boy, you're going to have to ask him. Like, I don't know. So clearly Marmol doesn't think that he's, doing this by design. It's a disaster, man.
Well, Flaherty is a complete jackwagon. This guy, he had a half a good season. It's over for him. He's not this ace. There's another prospect that they missed on. Here we go again. I mean, this is a complete train wreck. He never wanted to stay here anyway. He wants to go to LA, wants to be in the limelight. Go ahead, leave. You're gonna get a 3-year deal for like $8.5 million, Jack. Get the hell out of here. You don't deserve B-Fibs. And so get him out of here. What a complete jackwagon. They need to DL his ass and not let him come back ever again.
As B-Fib says, he's too worried about his outfit after the game.
That's 100% true. Oh, yeah, look at me. Look at my gold chains. Get the hell out of here.
Well, speaking of injury-prone pitchers, we got one coming back tomorrow for the Red Sox when they take on the Cardinals in game 1 of the series. We want to break down this Cardinals-Red Sox game tomorrow night from a gambling perspective. James Paxton on the mound for the Sox in his first start of the season, coming back from injury. I feel like that guy, I saw you picked him up in Fantasy Fish. Good luck with that.
2-0 Dallas. I got the over 5.5. It went down to earlier, a little bit later before the puck drop. So I got it at 5.5. We got 2 goals in the first. Let's go.
Let's stay on point here. We're talking about the Boston Red Sox and the Cardinals. We're not talking on NHL yet, Fish. Come on.
I got 3 stars on that, baby. I got 3 stars on that.
I'm on that over too. I'm keeping an eye on that. But tomorrow,
why I bet it.
That's right. Oh, thank you. James Paxton and Adam Wainwright at Fenway Park. Cardinals and Red Sox. The Red Sox are a -120 favorite on DraftKings. Cardinals are at even money at +100. The total for the game is 10. So a high total there. Sean, I'm going to go to you first. Where are you leaning in this game?
They give me the over, I guess. As bad as Wainwright is, that short porch in left field, the short wall there. Give me the over. Give me over 10.5 all day. Give me 1 star on that play, baby. There's no way I'm touching the Cardinals right now. They won 2 out of 3 in Wrigley. Big whoopee do. I mean, really, they could have lost all 3 of those games. Yeah, right. Exactly. I would not bet the Cardinals at this. I had texted Eric, I don't know, what was it, a few nights ago, and I had a little wager on the Cardinals and hit it. They were due. But I in Boston, I'm staying away. We got swept up there a couple times. I'm staying away. But give me the over. Give me the over.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the over, but I'm stay away from the Cardinals right now. Boston's playing a little bit better than what they were projected to play, which is kind of a good sign for that team. But yeah, stay away from this. Wainwright. What I would love to see happen tomorrow, both you guys, I would love to see Wainwright say, I'm only pitching if Contreras is behind the plate. That's what some guy needs to do. That's what he needs to do. And show Contreras, hey, the B-Fibs are behind you. I'm behind you. Don't worry about these other prima donna pitchers who are going to blame you, even though they get lit up after Kisner's in there for the last 5 games. I want Contreras behind the plate. That's what a real leader should do. But yeah, I'm not touching the Cardinals this weekend. I'm thinking the over is probably going to hit both, Friday and Saturday. I don't know about Sunday. Sunday looks like a pretty tough matchup. But I'm liking the over for both Friday and Saturday.
Well, especially with Paxton coming back from the IL, what's he going to go? 4 innings, maybe 5. I doubt it. What's Wainwright going to go? 4 innings, maybe 5. Get into the bullpen. The Cardinals bullpen's already taxed. Give me the over.
Yeah, I may be Joe Public on this one, Joey. I'm a little nervous about this now, but I was looking at it, I'm like, God, the over just seems so clear. The Red Sox are 3rd in the league in runs per game. They are incredible at Fenway, too. They average 6.2 runs per game at home this season. Yeah. And the Cardinals offense has been just fine as of late. They've scored 4 or more runs in 7 of their last 8 games. So I would, lean over anyways, but with the pitching matchup, man, you got to like it. Waino, I love the man. I am just not optimistic he's going to be anything better than an average pitcher this season. I mean, say what you want about his rehab starts. Oh, I was just working on some things. Like, just wait till I come back. At the end of the day, like, his final numbers were not good on the rehab starts. And his first start against the Tigers, it looked very similar, giving up 4 runs in 5 innings. He also pitched at Fenway a year ago. I actually was at the game, #blessed. He gave up 4 runs in that one as well in a 6-5 loss. I got more numbers. So the Red Sox, they crush right-handed pitching. 2nd in the bigs in OPS against right-handers. So I think it's going to be a tough night for Waino tomorrow. But I think the Cardinals, they have no excuse if they don't knock Paxton around. This guy, Sean, I don't know if you saw his rehab stats. He had 6 games. I think they left him on this rehab as long as they could before they physically had to bring him back up to the team. He had 6 games, 5 starts. He threw a total of 21 and 2/3 innings. He had an ERA of 6.23 and a whip of 1.57, thanks in large part to 16 walks in those 21 and 2/3 innings. Just awful. I mean, the Cardinals need to work this guy tomorrow because clearly his control is off. Cardinals have been good against lefties as well. They ranked 8th in baseball in OPS. So I agree. Over 10, 1-star play. I think it's going to be a high-scoring series, Tito. I agree with you. You think the Cardinals starting pitching has been bad with a 5.40 ERA? The Red Sox starters ERA, 6.01.
Even more.
28th in baseball. So it's going to be a fun series. Always fun when the Cardinals go to Fenway. I wish it was there this weekend. Definitely over tomorrow.
I don't ever personally buy into rehab starts with veterans. That's not a road I ever want to go down. These guys know what they're doing, so I don't ever buy into Paxton had a bad minor league rehab start.
16 walks though. 16.
Well,
it is a large sample size, but to your point, Sean, I get it if it was 1 or 2 starts where he was just working through. This seems.
I still like the over, but I throw those things out. They are working on things. They might throw their curveball 10 times in a row down in a minor league start. They're not going to do that in the majors.
Man, I don't know. Well, we're all in the over. You know what that means is going to happen. It's going to be a 3-2 final tomorrow at Fenway. That's what we're looking at. Probably.
Maybe a 1-0 shutout by Waino.
Yeah.
All complete game. There you go.
I do think the quality start, or not the quality start, because I don't think he's going to throw a quality start tomorrow. I think he will go at least 6 innings. I think that streak will come to an end. He built himself up in his rehab. I think he got to about 90 pitches in his last start. So he's got no limitations. They're going to throw his ass out there. They're going to say, Waino, you're our guy. I bet he goes maybe into the 7th inning, even if he gives up 4 or 5 runs. But
I think
that's not what the script's going to say, Eric. Okay, if it's 3rd time around the lineup, yes, man, Marmole's going to call up to Mo and say, "Oh, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to use my bullpen some more? Oh, yeah, that's what I want you to do."
I do think Nolan Arenado gets hot against Paxton. He crushes left-handed pitching. You got the monster. I think he can go deep a couple times. Goldschmidt crushes left-handed pitching. So Devers crushes right-handed pitching. All signs point to the over.
Sean, what do you think about, and we'll have more time to delve into this at a later point, player props for baseball? Because, we've played fantasy for years. I think we're pretty damn good at it. I just don't have enough time in the day to break down all these different player props that you could potentially bet. But God, there's got to be so much value there, right?
Oh God, yeah. You could bet tomorrow, Nolan Arenado to hit a home run, yes or no. I don't know what the odds are. I would guess probably plus 180, plus 200, somewhere around there. Maybe he's been cold, but he does crush left-handed pitching. There's great odds. You can do the player prop parlay as well, so you can get into that. I'm the same way. I don't really have time to get into all that. I got too many kids, job, all this stuff. But I definitely think there's a market to make a lot of money, especially with young pitchers and the over/under and the strikeouts. If a young pitcher who struggles against, let's say you got a left-hander and he's going against the Cardinals, who last year they crushed left-handed pitching, and he was a rookie. His strikeouts might be 5 or 4.5. It's probably going to go under. So there's tons and tons of leagues, especially if you play fantasy baseball. It's been rough this year for me, especially. Pretty much missed on every player I drafted, besides Carroll. But yeah, I don't know. Player props aren't for me, but there's a lot of money being made out there, I guess.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's move on to City. Tito, I see the shirt. I see the hat. It looks good. Looks great. The beard is right on point. Looks like a playoff beard for you. So let's start with City big picture before we get into the Saturday game against Chicago. So I think we got good news and bad news. Good news, they're in second place in the Western Conference with 19 points. I was right on the money before the season, knowing they were going to be a competitive team. I said it several times. I never found the damn bet.
Couldn't find it. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was trying to find season-long point totals for MLS teams where you could bet the over or the under because I was going to ship the over on City. 3-star play, like 5-star play. I would have max bet it. City had the worst odds of any team to win the MLS Cup. So I imagine they were going to have the lowest projected point total. Unfortunately, cannot find it anywhere, but I think they have shocked even the most optimistic of fans. Like I thought they'd be in the mix for a playoff berth. Like that was my expectations. Never did I think in my wildest dreams they'd have 19 points in the first 10 games and be second place in the West. And as we sit here on May 11th, on DraftKings, only 5 teams have better odds to win the MLS Cup.
Wow.
City is plus 1,400 to win it all on DraftKings. So they're starting to get some respect, at least in the futures market. But the bad news here, Tito, I'm starting to get worried. They only have 1 win in their last 5 league games with 3 losses and a draw. They've scored 1 goal or 0 goals in 4 of their last 5 league games. They were knocked out of the U.S. Open Cup by the Chicago Fire on Tuesday. Now they're back in Chicago to take on the Fire on Saturday afternoon. Tito, I'm going to start with you because you were blessed enough to have season tickets to this ball club. We'll talk about the Chicago game here in a bit, but just big picture, how are you feeling about City?
It's not looking very good. It's the kind of the rose has lost its luster a little bit. They've kind of come back down to earth. The goal scoring has been abysmal over the last several games. Klaus has been out. That's their top scorer. And again, the set pieces where they were getting a lot of good opportunities early on. Those have kind of drained up. They're the most penalized team in MLS. That's not good for their game flow. The book is out on how to attack them and how to play them. So, Cardinel's going to have to make some adjustments. I'm not the MLS Cup odds. I stay away from that bet, boys. That's not a good sign. They went up to Seattle. They couldn't play against Seattle. That's one of the top teams year in and year out. They've kind of played. Their was really, really weak initially. The first game against Austin was kind of a hit or miss. It was a tough place to play, but they were still kind of brand new, so people didn't really know what to expect. They were able to take advantage of that situation, and even the first several games. So they got off to a great start. They put themselves in a great position to make the playoffs. But man, I'm really nervous. Klaus isn't going to play tomorrow. We got to get them healthy. They got to get back on track. To what I said early in the season, Berkey, outstanding goalie, probably the top goalie in MLS. He's been outstanding. And they've got some really good defenders that have been playing fairly solid, but the goal scoring has not been there, and that's a huge cause for concern for me. And so I'm really nervous with you, Eric. I always like to be very, very positive and upbeat, but these last several games have kind of put a damper in how they started. So we'll see how they play on Saturday night. Chicago's coming off a big win against them in the Open Cup. They fired their coach. They were able to score against us in the first 3 minutes. That was not a good recipe. If City would have been able to hold on, maybe they would have been able to squeak out a win on Tuesday night. But I'm really nervous about even Saturday night. So we'll see how it goes.
Sean, where are you at on City?
I played soccer for almost my whole life, and sometimes a star's just got to step up, dribble the ball down the field, make a shot, and score a goddamn goal. I'm tired of these guys passing the ball around. Too much passing. Take the ball straight at the fucking goal and make a fucking sick shot. Let's go. Stop it. I'm tired of it. Pass, pass, pass. Let's go. Bury the fucking ball in the net. Be a man. That's where I'm at with City. But in all honesty,
spot on. That's great. You're absolutely right.
A lot of passing. The season ends in October, so we got a long way to go. And all sports are a game of adjustments. The league has figured City out. I'm kind of not watching every game because of Apple, and I don't really want to pay the money. But I do watch some highlights, and sometimes there's a free game on, and then I watch it. I'm being cheap, but I'm trying to retire one day, I guess. But yeah, just take the fucking ball, stop, make a couple little moves, dribble here, dribble there, and get up, straight up the field. Let's go. Kick a corner. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm sorry for jumping in here, Eric, but I mean that's how they scored a lot of their early goals was off of set pieces. That's kind of been evaporated. Klaus has been hurt again. He's got that quad injury. He's not 100%.
Well, everyone's
So
looking for that.
yeah,
They're looking for that set now.
absolutely. So it's a tough situation to be in. But you're absolutely right. They pass way too much when they have it down in the scoring areas. They just got to put the ball on net and you break it down fairly simply, but you're 100% right. Get down there and just shoot the ball on fucking net, and something good will happen.
A lot of my Blues fans watching here.
Shoot. I'm telling you, man, sometimes that's all it takes. Put the damn ball in net, see what happens, Yeah, you guys have kind of both hit on where I'm at on with this team. They kind of remind me of a rookie hitter in baseball that comes up and crushes it right away. Like they have lots of talent, lots of upside. They also have the advantage that there's not really a book on them yet on how to attack them and get them out. And now, like, you see this a lot in baseball. That rookie comes up after that hot start, he starts to struggle a bit because the league makes an adjustment, starts to figure him out. And then it's on the hitter to recognize, how the pitchers are attacking him and then adjust back. That's where I think City's at right now. I think there's plenty of tape on them now on how they play. I think teams are more prepared on what they're going to face. I think that's what's led to the struggles. And I think it's going to be a mix of like, sure, you want to stay true to who you are, but Carnell and the staff, they got to figure out what teams are trying to do to them and adjust accordingly. Like I didn't get a chance to watch the Dallas game last weekend before it got postponed, but by all accounts, everything I heard is that City had the better of the play. And Dallas is a good team too. They're in 5th place in the West. So hopefully City is making those adjustments and gets back to the results they had earlier in the season. But I think like right now, my hope for this team and realistic expectation is make the playoffs. Like, I don't think they're going to be at the top of the table for the whole season. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised by that. But I think especially with how they started, if you just make the playoffs at this point, even if you bow out in the first round, I think that's a hell of a success to get off the ground with a brand new franchise. But I think you guys, it sounds like we're all on the same page here. Tito, what do you think about my analogy with the rookie hitter in baseball?
Yeah, I think that's a spot on analysis. I mean, I do have a little bit of concern in regards to the 2 games prior to the game against Houston. The first half, the first 50 minutes, they did dominate play. They made some adjustments, and they were playing a lot better. They were playing city soccer for sure. But the previous 2 games, they had players come out and talk about how they thought they were going to come out and perform a lot better, and it was the same mentality each game. They didn't come out on top. They had a lot of bad chances. They didn't play very well, and so you thought they were going to make that adjustment previous, but they made the adjustment against Houston. I'm
Dallas,
hoping that they'll Dallas. I'm sorry, yeah. So I'm hoping that they'll make the adjustment. That, again, the Tuesday result does not have me optimistic, especially with having Parker out on the D line. He had a yellow card. He's got to sit out this next game. And so it's going to be nerve wracking. And Klaus isn't going to play. Alm's not going to play. It's going to be a really tough challenge, especially after Chicago, took their measure on Tuesday night, and they're going to, look to capitalize some more. So, your analogy is spot on. I'm just hoping that Carnell has some adjustments that will get the fan base reinvigorated. So we'll see what happens on Saturday night.
I will say, I think there was like maybe 4 or 5 regular starters that played in that game with Chicago for both teams. I mean, it was kind of a half varsity team, half JV team. I know we had Parker and Leuven out there. But so I don't think that was a, not totally accurate representation of what we're going to see on Saturday. It actually is an afternoon game. It's a 12 p.m. game on Saturday, which kind of sucks. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to watch it. I've been loving the 8 p.m., 8:30 starts because the kid's in bed and I can watch it. One thing I'm wondering, Tito, and you might know more about this than me, do you think their style of play is sustainable over the course of a 34 game season and all the other games that are playing. I think what they're doing is it's super entertaining. I just wonder, are they going to be more prone to injuries as the year goes on? Or are these guys going to be more prone to flat spots where they just don't have their legs in a certain game?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I mean, it's a unique situation they're in right now with the Open Cup and what's coming up in July in regards to, I forget what that tournament is called, where they're going to be playing some Mexican teams. But no, I'm not concerned with them, kind of fading in regards to having players go down with injuries. They're well conditioned. They have a good conditioning program going on right now, so I'm not really worried about that particularly. I'm just more worried about them figuring, them being realized how they're going to be game planned and not make the adjustments. That's the biggest cause for concern for me. The other big cause for concern is that this international portal is going to be opening up soon, and from all indications, they're not going to be willing to spend money on bringing in new talent because they've really, really emphasized the team culture to this, and they don't want to bring in a hotshot European star to really make an adjustment, maybe scoring wise, and so they want to keep the chemistry as is. Whereas like the Atlantas of the world or the LAFCs of the world will take advantage of that and bring in that hot, legitimate European scorer and
Yeah.
really take advantage of it. So I'm really worried about that piece of it, just because of the talent level. I mean, you could be a great chemistry team, but if you don't make the adjustments and you have a team that's got 3 or 4 all stars, it's going to be tough to beat them down the road.
The only thing with the European guys is most of the time they're already washed up when they come over. I mean, has it worked out yet?
I mean, Zlatan came in. They won. They did win the MLS Cup, I believe. So I mean, it's been hit or miss, but it depends. But I don't think it's going to be one of those like high profile players. There's rumors that Messi might come to Miami once his PSG contract expires. I guess at the end of June.
One
But we're
billion
talking.
dollar contract.
I mean, what a joke. I mean, this guy's an absolute, I mean, this guy is just absolutely crazy. But it wouldn't be that level of player. It would be someone that's a kind of a consistent where the Champions League is not going on, and it's going to be more of a younger type of European player that
To
might
get
be
paid
coming over.
to get
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Tito,
So
you mentioned they weren't going to spend money in the transfer window. I'm like, my God, has DeWallet infiltrated this organization? Like, what's going on?
no, and yeah, I mean that's the thing. They've been talking about it. They've been really public about what they've come out and said. Lutz Pfannenstiel's come out and said we don't really want to mess up with the chemistry of the team. I mean, obviously, if they get 3 or 4 injuries, maybe things will change. But yeah, they're not. From all indications of what I've read and what I've been listening to podcast wise, they're not going to come out and spend money. That's not what they're going to do. Now, I guess I could be. I mean, I could be dead wrong on this, and God, I hope I am, especially if they have some key injuries. If Klaus is going to be out for an extended period of time, obviously this Giochini guy, the other forward, he's not performing to the level that we would like. So they're going to need some scoring from somewhere.
Yeah, you mentioned Klaus. I saw, yeah, you mentioned he is out again on Saturday. It was supposed to be a 10 to 14 day injury. I think we're already at about 21 days now. So nervous about that. Tim Parker, I believe, not mistaken, not playing on Saturday as well because too many yellow cards. So let's take a look at this game in Chicago. Their next 2 games are at Chicago and at home against Kansas City. 2 of the worst teams in the league according to the table. Now, these are rivalry games, I guess. I guess we're going to find out like how big of a rivalry this actually
Chicago,
is.
their last 4 games, they've lost 2 and they've drawn twice. So they're
Yeah.
not, they're not doing much either.
No, Chicago's not very good. They're playing at Soldier Field this game, which is just weird because it's going to look so empty. It's a noon game on Saturday. I don't know, man. It's just kind of a weird, odd game. Chicago's a minus 110 favorite. City's the underdog at plus 255 on the money line. The draw is priced at plus 260. You can also bet on City at plus half a goal at minus 120. That means as long as City doesn't lose the game, you would win that bet. So, Sean, does anything stand out to you there when it comes to the money line? The total is 2.5. I think that's priced at about minus 130 for the over. Any thoughts on or a lean for this game on Saturday?
No, I wouldn't listen to me about soccer betting. I have no clue. I follow Eric and Eric only. So I'm just going to be straightforward. I have no effing idea about betting soccer. I just follow Eric in Manchester City.
Honesty in media. That's
Yeah.
good. When in doubt, bet Man City. I still got the play coming up at the end of the show. Tito, what do you got for this game on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm thinking with Berkey playing, Berkey starting, even though they're gonna have their Parker's gonna be out and Klaus isn't playing. I'm liking that half goal bet. I would have a hard time believing that Chicago is gonna take two in a row from City in the same week. Again, I think Tuesday they were kind of emotional with regard to the new coach. They got off to that hot start, goal in the first 3 minutes. I don't think Berkey allows a goal in the first 3 minutes, and I think City at least ties.
God, this is scary because I'm on the same wavelength on you as this, just as I am on the Cardinals. I'm not going to bet it. There's a lot of unknown here. Chicago just fired their manager. It's their first league game with this interim manager. Sometimes I feel like that gives a team a lift, but then other times I feel like it gives like the substitute teacher vibe where teams just like don't respond and don't give a shit. I don't know enough about the Chicago Fire to know which one this is, but I just lean City plus half a goal here at the minus 120. I've seen this all year in the odds. The books have no idea what to do with City. It's like they've broken the algorithm and there's usually been value on them
Right,
because they're mispriced. And I've only like cashed in on them once because I keep being nervous of like, God, is this the game where it falls off? You know
right.
what I mean? And so like, and I also don't want the double whammy. That's one of our 10 commandments. Don't bet with your heart. But all, like you said, Tito, like all they have to do is draw this
Right.
game. I could totally see them, if they don't win, at least getting a tie. Chicago's played 10 league games this season. They've only won two.
Yeah.
So 80% of the time, Chicago's not winning their games. They're second to last place in the Eastern Conference. So, I think it makes sense. If you're going to bet this game, take City plus half a goal and
Right.
minus 120. But like I mentioned, I will not be betting it myself. All right, guys, let's go a little bit more rapid fire here as we kind of covered the big local topics. The NBA playoffs. Let's take a look at Friday night's games. We got game 6 of the Knicks and Heat in Miami. The Heat can close it out. They're up 3-2. Miami, a 5.5-point favorite with a total of 208.5. And the Lakers can take out the Dubs tomorrow in game 6 in LA. LeBron and company, a 2.5-point favorite with a total of 221.5. Tito, you gave us the fingers crossed signal there. What are your thoughts here?
I can't stand the Dubs. I can't stand Draymond Green. This guy is a big old whiner, complete fraud. Get him out of here. Sure, I like Steph Curry. I don't like this Klay Thompson fella either. He's wearing the bandana. He's not wearing the bandana. What the hell are you doing? This other what's the Jordan Poole? Is that the kid's name? He's trying to be Steph, launching it from 38 feet. Get out of here, kid. And Draymond Green, he's the exhibit A of why I don't like the NBA. Always whining, always complaining, always roughing people up. Play the game the
About
right way,
LeBron
Draymond.
or Green?
Oh, I love LeBron.
He
LeBron's
always
a great, all-time great player. Not the greatest of all time, but he's an all-time great. This guy is going to shut up the Dubs. They're going to take it home tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I'm cheering on Anthony Davis, the unibrow, and LeBron James to make it to another Western Conference final, baby.
I thought AD's a little banged up.
He played really well a couple nights ago, and so he's a little banged up. He's always a little banged up. He's been banged up ever since he left Kentucky. Woof.
No,
Let me
he,
tell
he
you
got
something.
popped. He got popped. It looked kind of rough, like maybe
Oh,
concussion. I did see on Twitter today he was cleared of concussion symptom of a concussion. He's feeling better today. He is expected to play because I was definitely awaiting news on him before thinking of making any play in this game. Sean, where are you at?
It's going 7 games. Put that down, mark it, write it down in Sharpie pen. You can put that in the books. This is going 7 games. NBA needs it for ratings. They need the money. The fix is in.
they don't need the money, but
It's
yeah,
all
you're
right
right. The
there.
fix
It's
is
going
in.
7 games. It can come maybe even go to overtime in game 7. Wow, amazing. We're going to overtime. So I'm taking the Dubs tomorrow money line.
Ooh, all right. So I am again. I'm being a puss here. I'm not betting it. I lean Lakers. The Dubs, I've watched almost all of this series. They feel off to me. I just feel like they don't have it this season. Tito, the it factor that we always cite. Klay Thompson, you referenced him. He has been terrible. He's just 11 of 37 from the floor over the last 3 games. It's 29%. I'm just going to stay away from it. I don't want to bet against Steph Curry. I really don't want to bet against LeBron either. Curry had that game 7 against the Kings where he put up 50 on them, and their season is on the line. Maybe their dynasty is on the line here. So he might just have one of those performances for the ages. I'm going to sit this one out and watch it as a fan.
Steph Curry comes back down 3-1 and beats LeBron. Arguably,
Wow.
he's better than LeBron.
Oh, sure.
Oh my God, it's full circle. I didn't even think about that. The 3-1. My worst gambling loss of my life.
Yes.
And now it'd be the roles reversed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that anyway. I mean, Sean, there's an argument for Steph to be, he's a better overall player than LeBron is now. I mean, that's greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great when he initially came up, and then he's been so consistent over the years. I can see that absolutely. That's a good call out too.
And he didn't have to move teams to win a title.
That's right. That's right.
Touché.
One bet I have already made for tomorrow in the NBA: Knicks and Heat first half under 106.5. Sean, I think you're going to like this data. I made this same bet last night. It cashed without a sweat. All 5 of the first halves in this series have seen 105 or fewer points scored. The total tomorrow is 106.5. It was 107 yesterday. It finished at 95 or something. I also see there's data. I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but long story short, Eastern Conference first half unders cash at a very, very high rate once you get deep into a series. So that's a play I'm already on tomorrow. First half under 106.5, Knicks and Heat. I did
Nuggets are taking the Suns to town right now.
Is that right? Yeah, you're right. So that series could be over. Celtics forced a game 7 against the Sixers with a big win on the road. I'm a Celtics kind of lemming, and I know that might not be popular in St. Louis, rooting for a Boston team. I just love Tatum, man. I'm St. Louis through and through. He wears the St. Louis pride in his sleeves. He had a real shit game tonight, but stepped up in the fourth quarter to help him to victory. They did the same thing last year in the Bucks series, same round, 2-2. They lost game 5 at home, looked like they were done, went and won game 6 on the road. I think they take the Sixers measure in game 7 and they take it to the NBA finals. I don't know if they're going to win it this year. The NBA, I feel like, is about as good as it's ever been in terms of competitiveness, where there's really not these super teams. I think there's a lot of different teams right now that can win the whole thing. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot more teams that can win it all this year. I mean, right now, who's the favorite? Denver, I guess. They're probably the best odds to win it all. I don't have the odds in front of me. I really haven't been into NBA much at all this year. I bet a little bit on the playoffs. That's my favorite time. These guys actually play a little bit of defense in the playoffs. Yeah, you're right. I mean, any team could win. I mean, Boston, Philly, Denver. I mean, Phoenix is probably out. You kind of thought they were going to make a run with KD, but nothing's going on now with that, looks like. And,
slow your roll a little bit. It's only the second quarter. They're down like 17 points.
Well, right. They don't play defense, so they can come back pretty quick.
Yeah, that's nothing. Let's slow our roll a little bit there.
If I'm the NBA, I want the Lakers and the Warriors to go 7 games. This is what I want. I want either Curry or LeBron. That's what's going to happen.
Game 7 would be on Sunday.
It's like how Tito hates Mahomes. You know what's going to happen, and you just can't stand it.
Well, I can't wait to watch that game. I'm going to fast forward to one topic I wanted to talk about because this actually it's topical with what we're talking about at this moment. These Lakers-Warriors games are starting at 9:00 at night. I've been staying up to watch all of them. I wanted to ask you guys, because I have a daughter of now a 6-year-old. She just turned 6 last weekend. How have your sports viewing habits changed since having kids? Because for me, I used to go to bed at probably 10 o'clock. If the Cardinals played at 7, I would go to bed after the game and If I missed an NBA or NHL game that went till midnight, whatever. Now Andy goes to bed a little after 8, and I feel like I want to party like every night. Like I'm gonna watch these games to the bitter end. Usually I got something on it, not always, but like especially the playoffs are just such great competition. So I'm just like I don't sleep that much anymore. I go to bed about midnight. I get up about 5:30. Like how have your guys' sports viewing habits changed since having kids? Because that's how mine have changed for sure. Tito, you want to go first since you're a veteran at this?
Absolutely, yeah. They've totally changed. I could care less about sports to be totally transparent and honest with you. We had that stretch of January and February where I was watching a lot of college basketball, but man, I could care less about watching sports. I used to always love staying up. I honestly can. I mean, I'm interested in it, but I could care less watching it. I'm not watching the Cardinals. I mean, I'm watching highlights, but man, what a wolf! I don't even care anymore. I used to always love staying up late watching the West Coast games, especially the Cardinals. That was exciting for me. Put the kids down and be able to have some alone time watching Cardinal baseball. But man, I'm in bed by 9:30, 9:45, and I'm getting up at 6. And I don't know how you do it, Eric, but man, I need my sleep, and I can't function without it.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna watch my sports with the kid in the room. That I still got to live my life. So if it's 6 o'clock and the Cardinals are on, game's going on. Kid can get their tablet and they can watch their little silly YouTube show or whatever they're watching. I'm not gonna let my son control my life, I guess. But I know where you're at, Eric. Andy's a little bit younger, and I kind of dabbled with that, and then I kind of thought, why am I letting this little person decide what's on the huge television that I'm paying for? You know, so and especially like football, I'm watching football now. My son's into sports, like he loves baseball, so we do have the Cardinals game on every night. He's talking nothing but football. Can't wait to dive into a little bit of Aaron Rodgers talk, NFL talk. I'm already getting on teams. I'm ready to go for the NFL season already. But no, I mean, I go to bed about 9:30 now as well, so the late stuff for me is no good. But I'm with Tito. Most of the stuff I could care less really anymore. NFL is number one for me. I still love the Cardinals. I still watch a lot of baseball. MLB package, I have that. I watch most of my starters and fantasy. It's been pretty rough lately, but yeah, Eric, you got to tell her, hey, this is my house. This is my television.
I do think I need to get there because usually once dinner starts, we don't flip the TV back on and we eat about 6. We don't turn the TV back on until after she goes to bed. And I do feel like I almost feel like my life is a separation of church and state, where it's like when she goes to bed, I feel like, okay, I got my time. I can either watch a show with Stacy or if I watch games, sometimes do both at the same time. Fling my phone across the room when a coach doesn't foul 3, doesn't foul when he's up by 3 late. That's happened in the past.
I
I think
mean,
I got to get there with that. I do think Tito. I think what it is with you, your kids are now like they are your life. You know what I mean? Because you got so many
I
of them.
got 5 of them. I got 5. It's not like I got 1 or 2 or something like that. I got 5 of them. They're all doing shit. I had to go to a fucking band concert today at 6 o'clock. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I mean, it's just nuts. So yeah, I got 5 of them that are always doing crazy shit. So yeah, I'm exhausted already. So yeah.
It's the same with me. We're at all kinds of practices. We got tackle football starting soon. The coach said 4 nights a week we're going to be practicing. 4 nights a week, crazy. So I think I'm going to start dropping them off at practice though, and going and getting me hour and a half time at home by myself.
Yeah, that alone time is crucial, and I think I just still I need it. You know what
But
I mean?
but we do the same, Eric. Like dinner time, television's off. Turn that off. We like to talk. Don't have that garbage on while you're eating dinner and stuff. But if you want to turn it on when the kid's on the ground, and you're reading a book or something, turn the volume down, get your sports fixed in a little bit. Take a
Yep.
peek.
Well, last night I doubled. That's I have the 2 TV system in my house, so I got Lakers and Dubs on one TV. Other TV I got Edmonton and VGK. That's been another fun, entertaining series. Actually, it's been close in that it's tied 2-2. What do we
3-2. Let's go.
Let's cash that over, baby. Dallas and the Kraken. But the Oilers and VGK tomorrow in Vegas, series tied at 2. Edmonton a minus 130 road favorite, a total of 7. We also got game 5 in Toronto tomorrow. Maple Leafs trail the Panthers 3-1. Toronto, a minus 175 favorite tomorrow, despite being down 3-1. Total is 6.5 in those games. Either of you guys want to jump in with any takes on these games?
1,000%. Toronto had a great game last night, taking the under on that game. They've been eliminated the last several years. Low scoring games, 2-1 games. They finally hit the They finally got off the snide this past year, defeating the Lightning in Game 7. Florida's got too much. They've got too much grit, too much determination. They're going to take it over tomorrow night, taking the under of 6.5. That's a 3-star play for Tito.
Dang. Dude, I like it. The under is cashed in all 4 games in that series.
Yeah.
The one thing that's keeping me off that, though, because I looked at the same thing. But first, me, me and God sometime we're over guys when it comes to hockey. It doesn't feel natural. Doesn't feel natural to bet an under. I almost did it. I don't like taking unders in elimination games in the NHL because I feel like these teams, they get down maybe 4-1 with 8 minutes to go in the third. They're pulling that goalie. They get real aggressive pulling that goalie. And you know what happens with there is that you get a lot of overs from that. And we've seen the opposite of that in the Oilers VGK series. I lean over 7 in that one because these teams are 2 of the best, highest scoring teams in the league. It's been a super frustrating series to bet. Edmonton, they cash overs like nonstop. The last 3 games, though, have all gone under, and that's because they've all been blowouts. All 3 games started hot to the over in the first half of the game, but then you get low-scoring third periods because the foot goes off the gas, no empty net goals. So I think we're due for a close game in that Knights Oilers series. And if it is close, it's probably going to go over. But I said this exact same thing heading into game 4 last night, and I got burned on that one and lost a unit there. So I'm sitting that one out. I lean to the over 7, but so I think I'm sitting out both the NHL games tomorrow. But those are my leans. Sean, anything on either of those?
No, I got a 3-star play going on right now in that Kraken game 3. I got it at 5.5, so I'm looking real good right now at 3-2. I don't know. We'll see how the wind blows tomorrow. I might bet an over. We'll see. I might actually take the over in the game that you guys like the under. I don't know.
All right, let's get you to a topic that you are excited about, Sean.
Yeah.
It's the NFL schedule release. I have not followed this super closely, so I'm going to give the floor to you.
Okay, so the NFL, what are we doing? We got the Detroit Lions opening up the season on Thursday night, going into Kansas City.
What?
Yeah, so the Lions are going to play the Chiefs. Yeah, come on, right? I know it's like a feel-good story, Detroit. The line here is probably going to open at 8.5, maybe 8. It's going to be Mahomes. Give me Mahomes. 3-star play now. That line, like I said, it'll probably open at 8. But I like the public to push that thing close to 9.5, probably before kickoff. Detroit was a fun story last year. They didn't really play anyone down the stretch that was that good, to be honest with you. The Packers weren't that good. Minnesota wasn't that good. We found all that out. The Giants weren't that good. So give me Mahomes week 1 already. I like that a lot. Also,
let me chime in real quick. I got good news for you, Sean. That line's already out. It's Chiefs -7.
I'm sharp. I'm pretty sharp.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you like it at 8, 8.5, you definitely gotta love it at 7.
Oh, I love it at 7, but I don't know. It'd be very hard to bet it already. It's such a long way away in case of injuries. You know what I mean? I mean, if Mahomes goes
10-star
out,
play.
You said 3-star play 30 seconds ago. Now you're going to say it's too early about it.
I'm not going to bet yet. It's way too early. I mean, Mahomes could get seriously injured in some kind of freak accident, and then I just lost my money. But, a week before the season or 2 weeks, for sure, then we're talking. We got to get through mini camp. We got to get through training camp. We got to get through preseason.
We got to get through him limping through everything that's going on.
You can't put a bet in. You can do futures right now, but I wouldn't bet a straight game yet. There's just no way. So right now, my darling in the NFL is going to be the Saints. The Saints have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. I'll pull it up here. So compared to last year's schedule, they're facing a winning percentage of 427. So
Dang.
second easiest in the NFL. The Falcons are the number one. And also the Saints had the worst quarterback play. Well, the New York Jets were second worst. The Saints were the worst quarterback play at QBR rating. So, Derek Carr, you might like him, you might not, the whole Vegas thing, but he's a solid, decent quarterback for the Saints. Like, he can hand the ball off, he can check it down as long as he doesn't lose the game. And so I like the Saints this year. Just like last year, I bet the Jets a lot, and they covered early in the year until, Vegas kind of figured them out and started making them favorites, and then that was over. But I'm going to be heavy on the Saints early and often this coming NFL season. I can tell you that.
Get rid of all that crap that he just talked about, folks. Talking about how it's the
And
second
listen,
week of schedule. The NFL every year there's a ton of parity when it comes to ups and downs, ebbs and flows of the NFL regular season. Don't take into account anything related to strength of schedule.
Oh,
you
yeah.
you gotta let the weeks play out. You can't just say, "Oh, well, it's the second week of schedule." Derek Carr is terrible. Allen, whatever the head Dennis Allen, or whatever his name is, he's a terrible head coach. This team is going to be an abomination. Get out of here with this
I
crap.
love it even more. The parity is because of the schedule. You got to start figuring these things out. I'm not saying the Saints are going to go Super Bowl, but in a betting market, I love them this year because they're going to be a little bit better than people think. I believe their win total is 9.5, so it's a little better than you think. But give me the Saints early and often this year. I think they open up at home against Tennessee. I'm going to be on the Saints early and often. I can tell you that. Also, we have the Eagles, number one fade team this year. They have the hardest schedule this year. Something like 6 primetime games. They got to play the Chiefs. They got to play everybody. Fade the Eagles. They are frauds. They're not that good. Everyone saw in the Super Bowl. I'm fading it. I'm definitely fading the Eagles this year for sure.
Super Bowl curse, is that a real thing? Because that was the first thing that came to my mind when you said that.
And toughest schedule in the NFL they're facing. That's a real thing.
So who wins the East then? The New York Football Giants and Daniel Jones?
So the hardest schedule is the Eagles. Second is the Dolphins. Third is the Patriots.
Stop talking about the easiest and hardest schedules. What are we doing here?
What's sounding pretty good right now? The New York Jets, because everybody in the East has got a tough schedule.
Get out of here, Aaron Rodgers. You finally came out of the darkness, and now you're a Jets fan again. Wolf.
Guess who has the fourth hardest schedule? The Giants. So Dallas Cowboys. Then number 6 is the Jets. 7's the Bills. So I don't know. The Cowboys might be a player again this year. I'm definitely ready for Monday Night Football. We got Buffalo Bills at New York Jets on 9/11. What a story. They can maybe use the old photo with the Twin Towers that a couple of the networks have been using lately and been getting called out on social media. So it's gonna be a fun season. I'm already ready for fall. Bring it on.
And a reminder to anyone watching, Sean, last 2 years, pick 6 contests, 61% and 64%, correct?
64 2 years ago and 61 last year.
Listen to this man when it comes to the NFL. Is there anything else you need to get off your chest about the NFL before we move on to the next topic?
So I have not listened to anyone. I haven't listened to a podcast. This is just released today. This is my own research. I love the Saints this year. Of course, we have to get through training camp and preseason, and we got to see what happens with injuries. But as of right now, they're going to be one of my darlings that I'm going to be picking for sure.
Tito disagrees. I like to see this. I like to see you two arguing again. It makes me happy. It fills my soul.
Maybe us 3 can do a pick 6 this year.
Oh, God. You want to see me get smoked? I'm going to be tailing you. That's my NFL strategy this year.
I'm going against you, Fishy. Sharpie Sean, I'll go against you. Saints are terrible. They may not win a game this year. Woof.
Couldn't believe their over-under was 9.
That's a high. That seems kind of high, doesn't it?
I'm surprised they actually have season win totals out already. The schedule just came out tonight, right?
Yeah, Kansas City is favorite to win the Super Bowl. 11,
Oh, shit.
They're plus 600 to win a Super Bowl.
I get it. Oh, I guess we already knew the opponents, though. We just got the dates of when these games
Yeah,
are.
right.
Okay. I
So
see.
they're at 11.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this in the past. Like, isn't it fair to say that it's almost a near certainty that your AFC representative in the Super Bowl next year is going to be either the Chiefs, the Bengals, or the Bills? Is there anyone else that can win this thing in
The
the
Jets.
AFC?
Jets.
Really?
That team's legit.
Yeah.
They won
Robert
7
Sa-
games with the second worst quarterback play in the NFL.
I'm liking the Houston Texans. I think D'Amico Ryans, they've got something brewing in the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan knows how to pick his coordinators. They had Robert Saleh. I think Saleh is an underrated coach. I think they're going to break out this year. D'Amico Ryans had that 49er defense going humming last year. He's now with Houston again, back home. I'm really liking a lot of these situations.
What a wolf! That's the worst. They have the lowest odds to win the Super Bowl, the lowest over/under in the NFL at 5.5. You would like a Cinderella team like that.
Take the over on the Houston Texans, baby. I love it.
Oh, it's good to be back with you, boys.
Plus
I love it.
20,000 to win the Super Bowl. Tito thinks
I'll put one G on it, baby. Woo!
Oh man. Anything else, Sean?
no, not right now. I'm just pumped up. I'm ready to go. I'm not excited for the Packers this year. We had a terrible draft. We drafted 2 tight ends.
Oh.
Yeah, in the 3rd round. I mean, you trade Aaron Rodgers and you take a tight end, and then you take another tight end. What are you doing? I don't know. We'll see.
Ever since you bought ownership in the Packers, that franchise has went downhill. I don't know what you're doing. They need to start holding you accountable, owner.
I know.
Well, let's bring your mood up, Sean. Let's talk about the question of the day. Where this is the last thing we're gonna do before we get to our picks. Finish the show with a little bit of grab ass, some kind of topic here that we are not aware of. So, Sean, what do you have for us as your question of the day?
So what 3 things are on your bucket list?
Oh man, sports related or anything?
Anything. I'll start.
Jesus,
Give you
okay.
guys some time.
All
So
right.
number 1 for me is to get to Lambeau Field. I've never been there. I'm gonna go there. I got to get to Lambeau. Number 2 would be to go to Ireland. I would love to go over to Ireland, shoot some golf over there, drink in a pub, little fish and chips. And then number 3 for me is when I get older, I want to live on the beach. That's what I want to do. I want to live right on the beach. Not right on the beach, but 100 yards away from the beach, 200 yards. So that's on my bucket list. One day I want to live on the beach.
Well, I like that. Tito, you want to go? Or do you want me to?
You go.
All right, I'm scribbling a few things down. I'm sure I could think of some better ones, but my mind goes to sports. See a no-hitter in person. This is something I've always wanted to see. I've gotten close twice. Mike Morgan, 1995 with my dad. I told you guys that story. Michael Waka in 2013. Both got to the 9th inning at Busch. Both no-hitters ruined by slow rolling infield singles. Just effing brutal. Want to see one in person. You guys know I've gotten super into soccer over the last few years since COVID. I've never been to England, but I want to see a game. Chelsea has kind of become my pet team, which unfortunately they're having a shit year. And one of the reasons I fell in love with them is because they have Christian Pulisic, who is now fallen out of the rotation and is likely going to be transferred to a different team. But seeing a game at Stamford Bridge, which is where Chelsea plays, that's on my bucket list. Really, I mean, any of those big ones, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, just to see a big time EPL game in England would just be outstanding. I actually have been to Ireland, John. This is the only time I've been over to Europe. It is the first beer that I had in Ireland. So you got a long ass flight to get over there. Andy was about 1 year old. We went with Stacy's family, which also included about a 6-month-old. So man, we had a pack of lunch for that flight, man. It was a grind. We also
you're braver than me.
Oh God. Well, I'll save the long story, but we discovered Andy's peanut allergy on that trip. because we got off the plane and I gave her a bite of granola bar and she started breaking out and like
Oh, shoot.
we got in two car accidents all within the first 15
Oh
minutes.
my God.
It almost took we clipped another car because we're on the other side. I wasn't driving. I could go on all day about the story. It was a stressful time. So anyway, my daughter, gets the peanut allergy where you could see her struggling, and then eventually it goes down. Thank God we almost took her to the hospital. Two car accidents. I'm like, F it, we got to go to the pub. And we're at this outdoor bar. It was just us. I feel like we were the only people there. And the very first Guinness that they poured was like the greatest tasting beer I've
Oh, wow.
ever had in my life. It's one of my favorite pictures of my wife and my daughter and I was holding the Guinness. Andy's holding her milk bottle as we're all, getting ready to have our first drink. So make it happen, Sean. Take the trip.
Beautiful.
What's that?
Beautiful over there.
I mean, beautiful is not really the right word. It's just like, I just like the vibe. Everyone's just fucking cool over there. You know what I mean? Like America's so effed up with all, with the corporate mindset that we have, and everyone works their asses off and everyone's so high strung all the time, myself included, I feel like too much. Everyone over there is just laid back and chill. So I was very attracted to being over there. I think it would be right up your alley, dude. I think you would love it. So eat the piece of cake, take the trip, all those things. I try and live by that where I can. But you mentioned about living on the beach. I guess this isn't really like a tangible thing, but like retiring at 50 is a goal of mine. Like it is out there. Maybe if I'm doing something I really, really loved, that I would want to do longer, I would. But just the thought of just like waking up on my, it's December 31st, 2032 is a Friday. I already know this. I want this
Jesus.
to be my last day.
You would know the date.
I would. I want to sit down and read a fucking book. Like just sit outside on nice peaceful days like today and just read a damn book, do whatever I want. I'm a simple man. I don't need a lot of fancy stuff. I just like to hang out, have a drink, watch some sports, and read a damn book. That's what I want to do. So no hitter in person, see a game at Chelsea and retire at 50. That's my bucket
All
list.
right. All
For
right.
tonight at least. That's what I could think of.
Man, yeah, I mean, those are some good options for you boys. I appreciate those. I'm not really the guy that's looking to retire, fairly soon. I like working. I like doing what I'm doing right now. And so, I mean, there's a handful of sports things I want to see. I want to go to a World Series game for the Cardinals. Definitely want to do that. Hopefully, that's something I can do. I've tried it in the past and never been blessed enough to find tickets or to get tickets. So hopefully one day I'll be able to go to a Cardinal World Series game. I'm also thinking I want to, bucket list item would probably be to, walk one of my daughters down the aisle. Would love to be able to have that happen. Hopefully in the next, 15, 20 years. And then the last one, I want to see my son uh, win some sort of CYC championship. I coach all of the sports, and I that's just kind of a selfish thing that I want. I want to have that opportunity to lead his team or lead a team that he's on to some sort of like championship, whether it's a city championship or a county championship. I'm not sure, but those would be something that I would love to have the opportunity to do. So it's kind of centered around my kids for two of them, and one of them's is a sports related, and I would love to have the opportunity to take you boys to a World Series game and watch a clinching game or something like that. That would be awesome.
I thought you might go with Duke, going to see Dookie.
Ooh.
Ben wants to play for Duke, right? So I mean, he wants. It's not gonna happen, but he wants to play for Dookie, but John Shire, all that stuff. So, but I mean, that's kind of a far fetched idea. But I mean, yeah, Cameron Indoor would be a nice place to play, or a nice place to be at, watch a game. Eric, going over to England or going over to Europe to see an EPL Champions League final. I mean, that would be outstanding. That would be just like the tip of the iceberg. Would be wonderful. So one day maybe.
You remind me
That's
of
fun.
another good question there talking about the Dukies. So my aunt won something in an auction one time, and the prize was You could go, it was tickets to any regular season sporting event in the United States of your choice.
Wow.
I don't want to even know. I already know.
What would yours be?
Did she take the Cardinals?
No, so it's a regular season game. And this is my aunt who is a Notre Dame graduate. Her choice was to go see Notre Dame play Boston College at Fenway Park.
Oh, awesome.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
That's
My answer would be seeing the Dukies play North Carolina at Cameron. That would 100% be mine. If it had to be a regular season event, what comes to mind for you guys? Is there one that would stand out to you? Another one that I considered was Auburn and Alabama at Iron Bowl. That would be real big time.
Packers Bears game for me.
Packers Bears, yeah.
Definitely up there. Boy, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot with college football for sure. With Texas A&M and Texas, that'd be fun down there.
Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go to the big house. Yeah, I gotta get
Yeah.
to the big house. That's on my bucket list. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That Duke, North Carolina, that's a strong play. I mean, I was thinking maybe baseball, New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox, but
That's lost some luster in the last couple of years.
it has. That Dookie, oh, especially with Coach K versus Roy Williams, that would be it. That would be. Oh.
I also the AFC Central. I would like to go see like a Baltimore Steelers game. Man, those games,
that's a good call too. Yes.
those guys get after it, man. That'd be fun.
Yeah, my mind goes to like what would have the best atmosphere because you could get let down and you see a blowout game, but like anytime Duke plays Carolina, especially Cameron in that gym that's got like what 5,000-6,000 people in it, and it's just
the students are doing all that crazy shit. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes. Yeah. I liked my aunt's call on doing. I mean, how many times you get to see a Notre Dame play at Fenway Park?
Yeah, that's
just one of my favorite cities. But what a great prize! My God, if you're going to spend money on any kind of prize in a silent auction, I feel like that'd be it, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this has been great. I mean, we've gone an hour and a half. Sounds like three guys that could do a 2-hour radio show. I don't know about you guys. It sounds like we might be able to pull that off. How about our picks? I know we've kind of given some out here as we've been going on through the show. Sean, do you want to start? Is there any that I know we talked about the over, I believe, Cardinals, Red Sox. Is there anything you want to give out? And in all sincerity, I'm not keeping track of these anymore. There's really no upside of that, I think. But if anyone is watching this before the Friday action and want to tail any of us, feel free to give out, what you are going to be betting on this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with my team that I picked a few months ago on this podcast, Atlanta Braves. They sure are looking pretty good. Yeah. They look like the team to beat to me. And then baseball, give me the Braves minus 155 going to Toronto. We'll do that for a one-star play. We got Strider on the mound. Toronto's kind of stumbling a little bit lately. Give me the Braves. I like the Braves tomorrow. We talked about the Cardinals over, but I wouldn't be an official play for me. Give me, and I'll fade you boys. I'll take the over 6.5 in the Maple Leafs game for a 2-star play, actually. And give me the Dubs money line 3-star play.
To your point, Sean, the Nuggets are up 30 at the half, by the way, so that game might be over. So touche to you calling that out early.
Dubs plus 120 money line. That's where I'm going.
Tino, you got any action? You got your 3-star play there.
I got my 3-star play with the Florida Toronto under 6.5. I'm also thinking the Heat, Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, they take care of business tomorrow at home, and they send the Knicks home crying. All the Knicks fans, Spike Lee, the Knicks, they're back. They're not back. Get out of here. Woof.
Boy, I like Jimmy Butler. I feel like the Heat are flying under the radar because they're the 8th seed. I feel like Jimmy Butler, as much as anybody in the league, reminds me of Kobe. He's kind of got that killer mentality.
He's a dog.
Oh my God. When they closed out the Bucks in Milwaukee, he was just straight gangster. It was incredible.
He does it year in and year out too. This is some guy that he has the it factor. I mean,
He
an
does.
outstanding player.
As the
Yeah.
kids say, he is him.
Boy, I like them. Yeah. Tito, anything else stand out to you that you want to put a bet out on?
No, just those two plays. I like those two plays a lot. Those are what I wrote down earlier tonight. I was at that damn band concert. So I like those two plays. I'm thinking the under on Florida and Toronto tomorrow, and then Jimmy Butler takes care of business tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. Official plays I'm going to be betting Cardinals, Red Sox over 10. The data is just too overwhelming to me. If the Cardinals cannot get to James Paxton, I just don't know what else to do. Even if he was just his normal self, he's a left-handed pitcher. The weather's supposed to be pretty good in Boston tomorrow. I think it's going to be an entertaining series. So over 10. That Knicks Heat first half under 106.5. I think it's a really, really strong play. And I promised to play on Manchester City. I'm going to make it real simple. I got a three. You writing this down, Sean?
Yeah.
I got a 3-star play on Manchester City to win the Champions League. It's at minus 150 on DraftKings. Man City currently in the semifinals against the defending champs, Real Madrid. First game was a 1-1 draw this week in Madrid. That game was awesome. It was like that place is an absolute madhouse where Real Madrid plays. And Man City went down early. They made halftime adjustments. They kind of changed up how they were playing. Real Madrid was kind of rope-a-doping them in the first half and caught them on the counter. Man City kind of let Real Madrid have more of the ball in the second half. Kevin De Bruyne tied it up. So it's going back to Man City for the second leg this week on Wednesday. Back home, Man City's a machine. Like they don't lose at home. They win that game. And again, even if they draw this game, it goes to extra time. So they have 30 more minutes where they could, have their skill win out and beat Real Madrid. It goes to PKs if it's still tied after 120 minutes. So if they win this game, which I fully expect them to do, they're on to the final. They'll be a heavy favorite in the final against likely Inter Milan. Inter Milan went up 2-0 on the road in their first leg yesterday. I still think there's value on Man City minus 150 to win the whole thing. So
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. That's super sharp to get ahead of the championship now. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I really like betting these futures, especially like to win or to qualify for the next round. I want a huge bet on Bayer Leverkusen to advance to the next round in the Europa League. I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but they were a pretty substantial favorite that I just knew, like over 180 minutes of soccer, they're going to win out. And they struggled in the first game. They did, but I doubled down and I put more on it, and they ended up winning. I heard a great saying one time that a lot of times people get scared. A lot of times if they're, they put a bet on something and then either like the action kind of goes against them or the line goes against them and they get scared. And the great line I heard one time is this guy said, don't be a moron, put more on. Like just don't be an idiot. Like if your read was on one way and you're getting better value on it, don't be a moron, put more on. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing here with Man City, minus 150 to win the Champions League, 3-star play on DraftKings. That is all I got. Does anybody else have anything else that they want to add before we wrap it up? I just want to say it's been awesome catching up with you guys. This has been great.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun.
It's been great. We got some news in store maybe later on down the road. We might jump back on here in a few months, talk to everybody after summer's over maybe.
Tito, a lot of fun, a lot of good time catching up with you boys. Good to see you guys again. Had some hot toilet takes coming live in living color. I got some CYC action. Baseball is going strong right now. The SCCA second grade boys baseball team's been on fire. Some great coaching. I got some great pitching moves going on here. So it's been a lot of fun. Good time chatting with you boys tonight. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of our plays cash this weekend, baby.
All right,
I do have a quick story. We're in a flag football league this session, and I decided not to coach this session. I took it off. So we got a new coach. First week, we're in a tight game. We end up losing by like 2 points. So week 2, I'm starting, I'm there at practice. I'm watching practices, and I'm like, man, we got to get something going here in offense. We got to get something going. This same old boring run up the middle ain't going to work. So week 2, we get shut out. We lose 18-0. Boys battled. I mean, they played some good defense, but we get shut out. So we go to practice. I said, Coach, you gotta start, a little misdirection here. You can't just keep running the ball. So
This fucking guy.
anyway, they run the jet sweep reverse. I kind of told them, hey, you got to try this play. So first play of the game, week 3, touchdown to the house. I go over to the coach and I said, well, how's that feel, man? He goes, well, feels pretty good. It hasn't been since week 1 since we scored. So fun stuff. Summer's been going, not yet, but summer's going to be pretty great for everybody. And hopefully you guys can come over to the pool, hang out, and get to see each other.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
No doubt about it, boys. All right. Well, enjoy the games this weekend. Sean, let's cash this over in this Kraken Stars game. I think we can catch the third period here in a minute. But that's going to wrap up our show for tonight. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You never know when we're going to hop on and do one of these videos together. But make sure you hit the notification bell too, so you can get our videos as soon as we post them. For Sean, for Tito, I'm Eric. This has been Domesticated Gamblers. Thanks for being with us, guys, and we will see you soon.
Let's cash.